So I got a very fun video for us to go over this time. This is going to be the 5th video. I still owe you guys 2 videos in one day, but we're going over the intricacies of skip loading. So everyone's got their own little spin on skip loading. Generally it's for a pre-contest diet. It'd be more of like your cheat day or, you know, your few cheat meals throughout a week. It was popularized or coined by Ken Skip Hill, who is a great prep coach. One of the guys that I look up to. And like I said, everyone's kind of put their own spin on it. Some people use it in the off season, like me actually. And it's actually something that can work really well in the off season if you implement it strictly and right after your show when you're still very lean. Basically, the idea is that you keep a very static, low calorie, generally low carbohydrate and almost keto approach generally to your static diet throughout the week or throughout the 6 days that you're not skip loading, or if you're skip loading every 8 days or 6 days. Generally though, especially according to the way that Ken Hill did it, it's every 7 days. You pick the day and you want to kind of modify it as your body changes and as you get leaner throughout a prep. Having said that, a proper skip load with, you know, high GI foods, high glycemic index foods, it's there to facilitate a glycogen loading process. So you're going to flatten out throughout the week. You're going to load on tasty, sugary shit, pretty much. You're going to fill out. You'll obviously feel pretty damn good the next day, although probably through the afternoon, depending on how lean you are again when you start your skip load, it's gonna be work to get the food in, because the high density carbohydrate foods that you're eating, they're inflammatory to your gut microbiome and your digestive system, right? So as you get going, you're going to kind of feel lethargic. You're not going to want to do much. Generally, you do this on a day that you're training early in the morning. Your cardio's done, and then you're not doing anything else, and you're just replenishing glycogen. You want to speed up the recovery process and have the energy and the strength and the glycogen for the next 6 days or 5 days or 7 days. In the off season, like I'm doing, because I'm not actually trying to get leaner, I'm going to do roughly 8,000 calories every 4 days. Now, it's going to change, but that's what I'm going to do for the foreseeable future until my body composition really changes. For someone that's prepping, I would definitely recommend no sooner than every 6 days. But having said that, if you have a good eye, if you have a good coach, if you can control yourself, and you need to be able to control yourself if you're going to be implementing a skip loading technique in your prep, you can definitely use this as your peak week load, like 100%. You have to have your water under control 7 days out, 8 days out. You need to be ahead of the game. You need to be already show lean. And it's a gamble, it's a huge gamble. If you time that skip load correctly, you fill out. Obviously, you're gonna hold a little bit of water, but your static water retention and body weight and glycogen storage is ready 7 days out or 10 days out, and you look like you're gonna do well anyways. If you time the skip load, you're gonna fill out like a fucking sponge. And then if you can fill the spill, okay, pull that water out, you're gonna look hard and dense as hell. And if you time it right, you'll be dry. So Generally, for me, like what I'm going to do, because I'm still hovering around 5 or 6% body fat or less, I skip load the entire day that I'm up pretty much. Like I'll wake up at 5, I'll do all the things I want to do fasted. If I want to do some cardio, you know, have some glutamine or whatever nutrients on an empty stomach. And then I'll skip load from 6 a.m. till 9 p.m. when I go to bed. Now, you want at least a 4-to-1 carb to fat ratio. You want to keep the protein really low because you don't want protein to hinder any sort of digestion speed or stomach volume or anything like that. You want sugary BS foods. Like staple foods are like pancakes. That's great. I mean, maple syrup. You want to, one thing is you want to limit the actual like liquids. So like a can of Coke or whatever is fine, but you don't want to be drinking 1 liter because first of all, that's going to take up too much stomach volume. And you want you want to use the same foods that you're going to potentially use on stage. So number one, like one of the best skip loading foods is pancakes. Bar none. Breakfast cereal, like kids cereal, Fruit Loops, apple cinnamon Cheerios, Frosted Flakes, anything that is high in carbohydrates, high in sugar, low in protein, and at least moderately low in fat. The difference between a shitload and a skip load is really the fat content. Like you want to kind of think of it as like you have this reserve of a really simple way to kind of think of it as like your car's gas tank. Okay, you have this reserve of fuel that you're using through the week. You're not going to go to a gas station until your next skip load, and you are going to hold the pump, the trigger, until you spill the gas tank over. The next day you're going to be watery. The next 2 or 3 days. I skip loaded Wednesday. It's now Friday. Thursday my cheeks were significantly bigger, but I also took about 16 bathroom breaks to urinate in the last 36 hours, okay? Your weight's going to shoot up, and it's going to shoot up a lot. My skip load I did Wednesday was 8,323 calories and 1,100-ish carbohydrates. I kept my proteins under 200. I was 4.8% body fat or something like that, and 157.2 pounds. And my fats are around 300. And that's a whole day of skip loading, okay? That's 15 hours. Where was I going with that? That's because I'm so lean. Now, for someone that is at 10% body fat, a male that would be at 10% body fat, you simply can't skip load all day because you're actually not counting your carbohydrates. You're using a time window. Now, for a woman, 15% body fat is actually pretty lean. Now, you have to know your own metabolism. To be honest, if you haven't been doing this all prep, it's dangerous to use it for your peak week. You could use it to fill out still. Say if you've been prepping from 16 weeks out and then you get to 2 or 3 weeks out and you want to try a skip load, that's fine. That's enough time as long as you're really lean. Like if you're stage ready, you can do it. But one attempt at it and then another go at it for your peak week, wouldn't try it. And I wouldn't employ that to any of my clients. Or since now I have athletes that are going to get on stage, any of my athletes either. They'd have to have that technique going from the start. But any other questions you guys have about this, guys, reach out to me on Facebook, reach out to me on Instagram, comment on this video. Skip loading's a lot of fun, but yeah, it's a double-edged sword for sure. Anyways, it's Friday. The weekend's here. The weekend's here, baby. Have fun, go grow a muscle. Tell someone they're awesome, and until next time.